New Jersey Governor Christie's administration is finding itself stuck in a political jam that only got worse today. Newly released emails reportedly link a top Christie aide to a string of controversial lane closures at the George Washington Bridge in September and suggest those closures were ordered as political retribution. Democrats accuse Christie's staff of closing the lanes to punish the Democratic mayor of Fort Lee for not endorsing Christie's reelection. Fort Lee saw 4 days of gridlock because of the closures. The emails originally released to the Bergen Record come from the political accounts of Christie's deputy chief of staff, Bridget Ann Kelly, and David Wildstein, a Christie appointee at the Port Authority. Kelly wrote in August, "Time for some traffic problems in Fort Lee." Wildstein replied a minute later, "Got it." Since the controversy broke, Governor Christie has said his staff had no involvement in the lane closures. MSNBC has reached out to Governor Christie's office for comment, but we have not heard back as yet. So, David Korn, is this a problem because it reinforces a bully image of Chris Christie, or is this a real problem that could get it inches closer and closer?
Well, first off, I see that he just put out a statement saying the problem was the highways jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. I mean, he had a press conference that was scheduled this morning, of course, and canceled it. I think this is a very big problem for him. He has already said that his staff was not involved in this. He's made that, and he's made jokes about this. And what does this show? This shows people who are really mean, who are bullies and who are bullying a guy who wouldn't endorse a Democrat who would endorse him, and they're laughing at the fact in these emails that school kids are stuck in buses and can't get home or can't get to school. And so it really reflects what is his biggest, I think, vulnerability: arrogance and bullying.
The mean factor.
And if he was clear on this, this is speculation, he'd have no reason not to come out today and say, "These guys are gone. I'm having my own investigation. There's no way I'm going to stand for this."
Right.
But he has to worry, I think, that maybe he found out, or he knew, or he should have known. There's a lot to still come out here, and it's a criminal investigation, which is going to cause the problem.
And we should make the point that these were personal emails. These were not people in their government emails. They were actually personal emails. They weren't from or to Chris Christie. But I do want to read to your point, Jonathan Chait, who often writes things I wish I'd written, wrote today that the emails display an almost comical venality bordering on outright sociopathy, and they will probably destroy Christie's chances in 2016. The bridge story itself, while small in nature, reveals a political culture around Christie of people who have no business holding power. So again, it's sort of more about the culture that Chris Christie cultivated within the governor's office.
And the character that he plays. I mean, whenever you see a Christie event, there is such a theater around himself that he creates, that the people around him create, of here comes this truth teller, he doesn't care, he's getting these little guys out of the way. Usually at a press conference, he picks a mayor in New Jersey who's getting in the way of some problem, and he just goes after him. What we see here is not just a kind of venality, it's a pettiness. Chris Christie's, whole shtick has been that, the politicians in New Jersey, the Democrats, the Republicans, mostly the Democrats, are focused on defending their little town fiefdoms. They're caught up in little issues, and I'm the guy who has the people's interests in mind, who's going to come in and push that all away. Yeah. And what we see here is him engaging in just his staff engaging in just these very petty. I mean, we're talking about lane closures on a Hudson River crossing. It's very petty.
And it's interesting that whole theater that you talk about up to now, even when yelling at teachers, has really inured to Christie's benefit. And now for it might finally be turning to bite him in the email. All right, after the break, a half century after the launch of the war on poverty, there are many signs that the social safety net has been a success. But with millions still living below the line and the income gap widening,